Yo, what's good, everybody? So we here. This is the Rebel Film Talk podcast, mobile edition. We at the homes, home to home. Today we're gonna be joined by a podcaster. His name is Amp. He's from the Random Acts of Podcast. What's good, Amp?
Hey man, what's good?
What's good, bro? How's everything been going over there in Jacksonville? Everything.
It's crazy, like seeing everything, like everybody actually staying in their houses, driving down the street, seeing nobody. It seemed like when I do see everybody, everybody's like in the grocery store panicking and shit. But other than that, it's just like I'm just like seeing nobody in the street. So it's still wild to see.
Have you been out lately, or you just been mostly keeping in the crib?
I still gotta go to work, so it's just basic working crib, and that's it.
Oh, for
Only
sure.
time I actually like see people for real is like. At my job, it's just like me and like one other person working. So I just see them. And then when we do the podcast, that's the only time I'm like in contact with people for real.
You guys still like linking up at the crib to do the podcast?
Yeah, that might be dangerous, but we're still doing it.
Is everybody still like reckless, or they're also keeping to their crib? You know.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
When you go out over there, like, what's the sense like? Do you feel like everybody's kind of being protective, or you think most people? Because like I feel like down here in Miami, it took a minute for people to even take it too serious. You know.
Yeah, I've been noticing it like the past week. Cause before, like nobody was wearing masks at all. But now I'm noticing like when I'm driving by, everybody got masks on, everybody got gloves on. So it look like more people taking it serious now
Yeah,
than before, yeah.
I think last night they just like issued something where it's like you have to wear a mask. It's a mandatory mask thing for I think all of Miami-Dade County, might have been the whole Florida.
Oh, really? I seen that. I seen in L.A. I think it was L.A. and New York. I think it was like fining people like $1,000 or some shit like that. Something crazy. It's like
Yeah.
a crazy amount of money if they like see you without a mask, you just get fined. But if they bring that to Florida, then I wouldn't be surprised because I know you seen when they had shut down the hotels down there in Miami because
Yeah.
everybody was down there for like spring break and shit, and they're like, nah, we're gonna shut everything down.
Yeah, we were in a hotel. We were in Brickell, and we were downtown for one of my friends' birthdays, and they started locking everything down, like all the like Live and all the hot spots. But Blackbird was still open, so we slid over to Blackbird, and people was getting lit. And after a while, nobody cared. I got a video of like it just going off, and it was pretty much the last day before everybody just like kind of started closing everything down, and it became a lockdown. But yeah, like it's been pretty crazy. Do you like in it's probably been about 3 weeks or 4 weeks since the lockdown. Like, do you ever like wake up and just think like, damn, we're in a different world? Like, this, is it like what you thought it would be when we see the movies, like about the end of the world and everything?
It's hard. I don't think it's like to that point to like thinking about like a movie like World War Z or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because like everything's moving fast, so I don't know what to expect next. But I feel like this is I don't think it's going to escalate any more than it is now. It's just like this what we're doing now is just going to be the norm for like until like the fall or something like that.
Damn, all the
So
way
I
to
don't.
the fall you got.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a minute. I think it's going to be at least like 60 to 70 days.
Damn, that's crazy. Well, wait, you said the fall.
Well, almost to the fall, like in the
Yeah.
almost close to the end of the summer, pretty much.
Because at first they were talking about 2 weeks, and then they started saying like, a couple months till May or to July or August, and it's getting pretty crazy.
I
How
don't know how I don't know how true it is, but apparently in China they did like a 60-day lockdown or whatever, and like they're back to normal. So I don't know how true that is. So
Yeah, I heard they were just more or less suppressing the numbers, just to kind of stop the panic, because a lot of people getting scared. It hurts their numbers as far as buying from China and doing business with China. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Twitter's been lit, everything. Have you? How do you feel about the climate of like just social media in general? Do you think it's been boosted by all this, or do you think, you
oh
know?
yeah, for sure. Everybody's online more. Um, what else have I noticed? Yeah, just basically everybody online more. I know you've been seeing the IG lives. The IG lives going crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
quarantine radio and all that.
yeah, everybody shaking their ass on live and all that different stuff. But yeah, that's very much what I've been seeing. A
Do you
lot more reckless stuff online.
do you think that like all of this is helping or hurting like the cause? Like, do you think this is causing more fear and panic, or this is kind of keeping us entertained, while we're chilling?
Yeah, it's keeping us more entertained. I haven't seen anybody like panic for real. That might happen. Like I'm starting to see like more people like panic now because like we can't get haircuts and stuff like that. And I seen dudes like buying clippers and like buying like stencils and stuff to like line their hair up. I know I haven't got a haircut or a line up in like 30 days. And I'm like, damn, man, I look crazy right now. But it's just like, I just gotta thug it out because did you see like they've been doing like stats and stuff for like barbers that's been dying doing house calls?
No, I didn't see that. What's the
Yeah,
stats?
it's been like I don't know the numbers might be inflated, but it was like around 200. I was like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Those are those barbers that put their meat on your shoulder. Like, that's the thing. Like they never was taking the right precautions to begin with.
Yeah, because my cousin, he cut hair, and like he's down bad right now because he can't cut nobody hair, and like it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to get unemployment for barbershops because they don't really track the income like that. They just pretty much everything's just hand in hand. So he announced on Facebook he was doing like a mobile barber, and his mom came on. She was like, "You ain't doing shit. You staying in the house." She was cursing them out on Facebook. It was hilarious. But yeah, it's like barbers been like dying doing like mobile cuts and whatnot. And I was like, cause I was feeling bad. I was about to call my barber and see if he was doing anything mobile. Then I seen those stats. I was like, nah, man, I'm just gonna wolf it out, man. It's like I'm not going anywhere for real.
You're not trying to risk your barber's life over this cut.
It's not worth it, man. It's just I just wait a little bit. Granted, only time I'm like, granted, when we do the podcast, I am being video recorded, so I kind of like want to look presentable. But it's I rather my barber live and I live than
Mm-hmm.
getting a fresh cut. Because if a barber's doing going to everybody's house, he could be going to somebody's house with corona, and he just bring it in my house. And then we do
Yeah.
recording a podcast, and then like I'm spreading it to everybody that's on the podcast and whatnot.
Definitely, like a lot of my friends were, even Edo went and got a cut like probably a week ago, and I was like he was asking me if I could like cut his hair, trim him up, and I was like, I could, man, but I don't know, like it's a lot of work. But because I'm like a part-time barber, like I just like I do it for myself pretty much. I don't do it like for other people really. But yeah, like with that, like he just went out and did it, and some of my friends got more scared. And definitely like you got to be careful because like they be when they get out the blade, they'll kind of open up things, and it's
Yeah.
it's just it's very risky because they use pretty much the same stuff, the same tools for everybody. And
Yep.
it's a lot, man. But yeah, it's one of those hustles. Like it's a hustler's like business really. Like but yeah, it's dangerous. That's probably something that we probably haven't been talking about because yeah, like everybody has to get their cut, but yeah, it seems like you're thinking about it more in the long run. Like I want my barber to live so I can live to see fresher days. But
Am I the only one that's been doing like impulse buying? I've been buying a lot of shit. Like yesterday, I bought a new TV.
mhm.
I bought
From
I
where?
was
From
thinking about
Amazon?
from Walmart. I bought a new
Okay.
TV. I was thinking, one of those arcade one-ups, the little arcade machines.
Yeah.
I was thinking about buying them. I was like, man, I'm just sitting in the house. Like I'm kind of sort of saving money because I'm not going out. So it's
Mhm.
like I just got like a bunch of money just like sitting in my account. And I was like, man, I just want to buy this and that. And it's
Hey.
just like ridiculous. And then
Yeah.
I gotta like take my mind off it because I just been buying shit.
Can't let people know you spending cash. They're gonna start looking at you like different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also you never know, like shit might really go crazy where I might need that money. So it's just like, I might need to just relax a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I had noticed, like I feel like a lot of people they're trying to act cool under this because usually everybody's kind of suffering for cash or trying to find some way to pay their bills. And now is like the hardest time, and I think people have been kind of quiet about it because we're kind of all going through it. But
Yeah.
everybody's been kind of keeping it low key, like. And yeah, I think it's interesting because I think it says a lot about like our economy of just trying to act like we got it, you know, like. But
Yeah, for
at the
sure.
same time, yeah, like there's not really much to do than sit and like buy stuff, I guess. But I heard the deliveries are taking longer. One of my friends ordered something off Amazon, and they talked about like getting it like in a week, and I was like, bro, like don't they have like 1 day shipping? Like I see the Amazon trucks up there, you know. But
Yeah, Amazon been I think Amazon was the only one that I really saw that was like really affected. Um Final Fantasy 7 came out today,
mhm,
and like a bunch of people was pissed because it was supposed to come out today, but like Amazon was saying like, hey, we're not shipping it out to like next Friday. So a
mm,
bunch of people had to like cancel their orders and like download it like digitally. So I noticed that. Um, it was some other stuff that people was getting like late responses on. And it's kind of weird because I was gonna get something on Amazon and it said like it's gonna take a little minute, and I was like, the Amazon factory is like 2 minutes away from my house. I was like,
yeah, I'll
you
just go
can't
pick
just
it
put
up.
yeah, you can't just throw that in a van or something and just bring it to me. But it's just like it's weird. But I think it's from like they probably because you know Amazon and they say Amazon is like a slave ship. So I
Yeah,
think what's happened is they probably cut a bunch of employees and it's probably like only like a little bit of people in there, so it's probably taking a lot longer to
yeah.
get stuff.
One of my friends works over there, and you know, he was saying that he was asking like, could I get a mask or some gloves, because like they wasn't giving anybody anything, and they said like, no, we can't do that. And I think it was more of a thing where if they did it for one person, they had to do it for everybody, and
Yeah,
they're non-union, so like they kind of stay away from things like that. Like they're more inclined to like give out a bonus or something, or like free gift cards instead of like try to worry about all those things. But I heard a lot of people were getting sick, so they, you know, that's why they were trying to bring in people like, oh, you know, like they were saying like, if you got fired or laid off or furlough, like just come through, we'll give you a job, because they need people. But they're not necessarily taking the precautions to make sure that people don't get sick while they're there. So it's like it's getting really interesting right now with that whole situation. um yeah, like so how's everybody around you and stuff? Is there like are they scared, or are they like they're just kind of like cool with it right now?
they were kind of like everybody around me was kind of like nonchalant about it, but I think uh, for what I've seen, a lot of people taking things more serious. Every time somebody come over, they're like, "Man, you got some hand sanitizer?" So I got some hand sanitizer by the door
Yeah,
and different stuff like that. Might buy some gloves, man. But I might have to. I need to get a mask. Also, you got a mask?
shit, no. I
I need to get a mask. I need to get a mask.
The thing is like the week before everything got locked down, we were at the festival, the Miami Film Festival. So we were like partying the whole day, meeting people, shaking hands, you know, the Miami cheek kiss. So like I was like, bro, like by this time I either got it or I don't got it. So it is
Yeah.
what it is. Like like I'm not gonna catch it being in my crib all this time or going to Publix for like 1 second. But yeah, I'm not really scared. I'm just in general, I don't mind getting sick for like a couple days or whatever, because we ain't got nothing to do anyways, you know.
Did you hear the little Art Basel conspiracy?
About what?
Uh,
About the Save Winwood thing? Or what?
no, the apparently a bunch of people saying they think they might have had it then.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying even for Super Bowl, you know. And yeah, it's true. I did feel sick around then too. A lot of people said they did, but
Yeah, because
a
I
lot
know
of
when I
people.
went to because when I came back, because when I came back from Art Basel, I was like real sick, and
Mhm.
then I was like coughing a lot. I went to the doctor, and they just said I had the flu because I was coughing like for like 3 weeks straight. I
Yeah.
was like, I never coughed like this, and I had went to the doctor, and it was like, oh, you just got the flu and whatnot. And I just took some medicine, and I was straight. And then I had while all this was going on, I just like asked different people like, were you sick? I like asked Devin, I asked Joe, and then I seen a couple people tweet about it. They were like, yeah, I thought I came from back from Arbel. I was sick as hell. I was like, damn, that might have been like not necessarily like the strain that's going on around now, but that probably was like some like lighter strain of corona or something like that.
Yeah, it definitely affects people differently, you know. Some people just get kind of a cold. One of my friends, he said he lost his like sense of taste and the smell. And I was like, for real? Like, I thought he was tripping out, but he said he got in. He just took the test like yesterday, but they said that it'd take up to like a week to get the results. I was like, damn, by then you should already been recovered. Like, it's weird that it's
Yeah.
taking that long. Like, there should be a way to do it instantly or something, but
If you got
it's
the money, it's instantly.
definitely.
I was watching Chris Paul. He was on All the Smoke podcast, and you know how when they had a little crisis with the NBA,
Hmm.
he he took his test and he hopped on a plane from Oklahoma to LA. I don't know how long that is. That's probably like 2 or 3 hour flight or whatever. He said by the time he got home, he had to sit in his car because he had to wait on the results. And then he got the results like a couple, like maybe like an hour or two later. So like, let's say that was like 6 hours. So that's about 6 or 7 hours. He got the results and whatnot. So, and then I'm seeing what you said that it's taking a week. And I'm like, man, if you got some money, sound like you
Yeah.
get your results instantly.
It might be something where it's like they have their own sort of private doctors or something, or smaller labs, and when it comes to these other places they have to like ship it or something. I don't know, I have no idea, but it sounds crazy. I feel like for the most part we're sort of separated from like the craziness, unless you have a family member that works at the hospital. Like, we don't hear all the horror stories and stuff, we just see the numbers, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really strange because it does feel a little different, but it kind of feels like business as usual for the most part. I mean, my dad's working from home. A lot of people are kind of going on with their lives, you know. So it's interesting. But yeah. Have you been watching like any movies or shows? Have you binged anything lately since we all been in the crib?
Not really. I've been watching Better Call Saul. I haven't
Mhm.
really been watching TV shows like that. I've been listening to a couple podcasts. We got the Patreon, so I've been like editing videos and shit for that mostly, but I haven't really been watching TV. If you got any recommendations, I'll take it because I do need to catch up on a lot of stuff. But only thing I've been watching was Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, you know, we've been watching all the hot things that have been dropping. You know, the Tiger King.
Tiger King. I haven't watched that yet.
That movie, The
I've,
Platform, was pretty lit too. You seen that one, The Platform?
nah, next movie I'm gonna watch for sure is The Banker with
Um,
Samuel L. Jackson. I'm gonna
oh
watch
yeah,
that.
where's it? That's on Netflix or where?
It came out in theaters, but because of Corona, it got sent to VOD. So I seen it on Quanflix. So I'm watching on there.
What about? Have you seen Parasite?
I keep hearing that's good.
Okay, it's on Hulu. I mean, you it won the Oscar for best film, and it was foreign, so like definitely got to be good to beat out like all the other candidates that were there, you know. But
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I just gotta get my read on. What's like? Is it 2 hours or something?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. Honestly, it probably from the outside looking in, you probably think, oh, it's like gonna be a foreign film. It's gonna be slow or something. It's actually really funny. It's super funny, and it's really like a hustler movie. Like, it's one of those. It's almost like a heist movie in a sense, but it's really dope. I think it has a little bit of something for everybody, and it's you know, it was pretty relevant when it came out before the disease thing, because at the beginning it looks like it could have gone that way, about people living on top of each other. It could have gone that way, but it ends up going a different way, more about social class and stuff. But yeah, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it's on Hulu now, so it's and you got cornflakes, so
I'm I'm gonna- I'm gonna- I'm gonna watch it. I seen it on Quanflix. You know, it's funny. I got a Hulu account
yeah.
and I've paid for it for like 4 or 5 years now, and I don't watch it ever.
Hulu has a lot of good stuff, but you gotta like kind of scroll through it because they don't advertise that they have it so much. Like, but if
Yeah,
you scroll through, same thing with Amazon Prime. Like, I'll go on and I'll be like, oh, these are pretty good films, like that they got. It's just like it's not highlighted. It might not be the hottest topic like film, but they're pretty good. Well, I was gonna ask you, have you watched Dave yet? The Lil Dicky Show.
I keep hearing that's good.
Yeah, honestly, like I think it's like the best show of like maybe the year. And
Mm.
it's kind of hard to explain unless you watch it, but you know how they said like Atlanta was going to be like a Curb Your Enthusiasm with rappers? Like
Yeah,
this is actually that, you know, like he's sort of like this sort of odd man out within the rap game. And he's so analytical about the process. He really digs into those kind of awkward moments, like asking for a feature, or like trying to work with rappers, or like all these little intricacies of being in the game. And it's really good. Definitely the highlight episode was episode 5. And I won't spoil it, but it's interesting how far they go into the genre. Like they really stretch comedy out, like pretty much kind of like how Atlanta did, how it went so many different directions. But this one keeps it on the topic of like being a rapper and all that. And I think it's incredible. And amongst my friends, we've all been talking about it, but it feels like there's a lot of stigma for a lot of people who kind of have known about Lil Dicky to even want to get into it,
Yeah, I think that's what's holding people back. Some people just think like Lil Dicky's corny.
Yeah.
But what I've been seeing is people saying like, even if you don't like Lil Dicky or you think he's corny, you're gonna like this show because it's not based off his rap persona at all. It's just a really good show.
Well, the thing is, it is, but I guess it opens itself to commentary. Like he addresses a lot of sort of the criticisms against him, and he kind of takes it as a way to explain his brand a little more, and it kind of humanizes him, where it separates him from like his rapper persona, but also shows you who he is, but shows like how he kind of like goes back and forth through it. Like he has one episode with his girlfriend where she hears him rapping about like eating the butt, and she kind of is like into it, but he's like, no, I will never do that with you. You're my girlfriend. Like, you're my real life girlfriend. Like, this is Lil Dicky. That's not who I am, And I thought it was such an interesting topic when it comes to that idea, like the same thing with Future, where he was talking about not doing drugs, but rapping about it. So like, it's so interesting. Like there's kind of something for every topic within hip hop. And I think it's great. And I think it's really interesting because it's the same way Atlanta kind of spoke to like the realness of Atlanta and being a rapper and stuff. This one is doing the same thing. So it'd be interesting. I think once the season ends and more people hop on it, they'll be more on board for the second season. But it's good. I like that one. That one is one I've been watching throughout all this. Let me see. Is there anything else? The Tiger King thing. Have you seen that one, or you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
That one was really good, and that's another one that you might go in thinking like, this ain't gonna be for me, but it's especially you're from Florida, like it's a true Florida man story, even though the dude is from like Oklahoma, or what is it? I think Ohio or something. But he's he's basically trying to like plot a hit on somebody who lives in Tampa, and it's pretty crazy like how in depth they go into it, the story and everything. And it's just super entertaining, but that's why
I feel like I've seen so many people talk about it where like I pretty much like know everything from that shit. So I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it eventually. How many parts is it?
It's like 6, I think, or 7.
6?
I think it's probably 7.
I'm gonna check it out. I just haven't been like dialed in with TV for whatever reason, man. I've just been playing video games. I beat Resident Evil 3 last week. They did the Resident Evil 3 remake, so I just been playing games, but I said I'm gonna like take some time to catch up on everything.
What about Ozark? Have you watched that series yet?
I've never watched Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark. I just caught up with it because I had seen the first season, but I hadn't kept up with the second season. But definitely, it was good. I mean, definitely the third season I felt was like really, really good, like Breaking Bad level. But it still feels like there's potential. I think what people forget is Breaking Bad took time to get to that place, Like the first season, you could see the quality, but as it got deeper and deeper, you kind of really got into it, But
Yeah, I feel
like,
the same way about Better Call Saul too.
oh yeah.
I love Better Call Saul, but it didn't really get good until like season 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I fell off like on the 4th season just because I couldn't do like the watching every day thing. Like, but what I had seen was good. And, it might go like 2-3 episodes being a little chill and then it'll turn up. But I like Better Call Saul. It's just the intricacies of being a lawyer and like all that stuff. It's like it makes you care about the subject, and that's good because I could care less about some of the things that they're worrying about,
It's kind of weird also because what the show is, what last season was based off was like him like trying to get his lawyer's license back.
Hmm.
And if you watch Breaking Bad, you know he got his license back. So it's kind of like was you watching it like I know he's gonna get his shit back, but I'm just gonna watch it anyway. Like I know
Yeah.
he's gonna win in the end, but let's just see like the story of how that happened, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like watching any of those like Star Wars prequels or whatnot. Like it's yeah, it's I mean, it's just a well-made show. I think if you make a well-made show, like there's a way to tell that story where it's still gripping, where you're still interested just seeing the characters every week or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little scared because I don't know how long it's gonna last. Because now with it's not really a spoiler, really, but like they're starting to introduce like Breaking Bad characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this shit about to end soon?
Yeah. I was thinking about getting into catching up, Do you think it's worth catching up?
Oh
Like
yeah,
or
for sure.
ha-
Yeah,
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I see they got it on Netflix. I just you know, it's one of those shows that it forces you to pay attention to like all the details, so you can't just like be chilling on your phone or just let it ride in the back. So it
yeah.
demands a lot of attention.
You
How
gotta
do
pay
you
attention.
how do you deal with that situation as far as like turning off your creator's mind and going into like just kicking back and watching TV or whatnot, or even listening to somebody else's podcast? Like, do you find it relaxing or does it feel like work to you?
It feels like work. What I haven't really been. I kind of like toned down on like people's like podcasts. Only podcasts I've really only listened to is like maybe like if it's like a certain type of like topic, like I'll listen to like a wrestling podcast or
Mhm.
something like that, or like a conspiracy podcast because we don't really talk about that on ours. But as far as like the podcast on about like pop culture and like different stuff like that, and like movies, like I don't really listen to it because like I'm a, I feel like if I listen to their stuff, I might accidentally take something from there. So I kind of like want everything I do original. So like as far as podcasts, I try to like dial back from like listening to other people's. Because before I used to listen to everybody because I on like some student of the game type stuff to see what like everybody doing. But now I just kind of like distance myself away from it. So I know anything I come up with is something that's original from my mind.
Yeah, it's hard because when I started doing like movie reviews and stuff, it was kind of tricky trying to figure out like should I watch other reviews or should I like do my review and then watch theirs? Like, because I didn't at the same time I wanted to try to offer a new perspective, but I didn't want to like do my review and then go see, oh, I had the same perspective as this person. So I'm like, maybe it's better I watch theirs so I could attack it from a different angle. But there's so many people in the game talking about the same things that it becomes sort of hard to find a different angle on it. And to me, it becomes discouraging sometimes. So it is kind of important to just kind of stay in your own lane and not focus on the vast amount of people that are trying to do the same thing because it's crazy. And I think that's what discourages a lot of people when they're trying to do their podcast or their reviews or anything. But yeah, like you've been doing this for how long now? For like 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. And you've had a lot of different like instances, like you had different sort of guests and different formats of doing it. What do you think inspired you to like really get into podcasting so heavy? Some people start and they fall off. Like what do you think inspired you from the beginning and what kept you going so long?
The feedback from the people the original inspiration was from my podcast because when I first did it, it was just basically me. And even when I had you and Edo on in the beginning, my inspiration was not Joe, yeah, Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast and the Bill Burr podcast. I like how they had theirs where they like it was just a host and they just sat down with different guests different weeks. But then like I had to shake it up a little bit. So we added Devin. Now we got Joe on. So it's just like getting feedback from different people and getting all the love is like what motivates me to keep going. And we also try and like here and there, we try and like do different stuff. So it's not the same format every time. You just
Yeah.
like shake stuff up. And then like when we shake stuff up, people get we get more listeners, we get better feedback. And the love is pretty much what keeps me going.
That's crazy. And you just recently like started the Patreon like not
Yeah,
too long ago, right? And
yeah,
it's doing good. You're like at like 400 or something, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. I think that's just so important because it just shows like the fan base is committed enough to like, put their money where their mouth is or whatever. Like not just listening, but also just supporting financially like the stuff that they appreciate.
Yeah,
Um
I was scared to do that at first because you probably know this. Like asking people for money is just kind of like it just feels weird sometimes. Sometimes it just feels dirty just asking somebody for some money. But we said, fuck it, man. We just like we're gonna offer you something. If you pay, you get extra content and different stuff like that. You get exclusive stuff that people can't see. And if you don't want to buy it or you don't want to subscribe, you just don't subscribe or whatever. You just want to listen to the podcast. That's cool. Any kind of support helps, but I was like, man, we just gonna do it, man. Just see what if only like two people sign up, but the numbers is a lot. So we just keep it going.
yeah, that's crazy. What like how do you feel about, I mean, you predominantly like interview like people that are your friends or people that you're just really close with. How do you feel about other people like, like Eric that like interview other people that like celebrities or they always have reoccurring different guests. That sounded weird, but they're always having
Yeah, I
different
get what you mean.
people. Yeah, like how do you feel about that? Would you like to do that too, or you just like feel better with the situation you have already?
I like I would want to do that eventually, but I'm more of a face to face kind of person, so I don't really want to do like how Eric do. I like Eric interviews, but I don't really want to do it like over the like computer and whatnot. I want to like face to face you in the studio. So I think like being in Jacksonville is kind of like holding us back on that because a lot of people don't be in Jacksonville. But eventually, we want to do it to where like we if we were to interview a celebrity, it's gonna be in the studio face to face instead of like on like FaceTime and we record it or whatever.
Yeah. Um, a lot of times, like I feel like a lot of people move out of Miami, to like LA or New York because they're trying to be more in, the community of filmmakers and all that. Like being in Jacksonville is even further than Miami. Like,
Yeah.
how do you like sustain your enthusiasm of creation and also link up with other people? Like, is there a community of people out there that are also like ambitious towards the arts and everything?
Not really. It's just like a small circle of people. I've like discovered a couple more people that do like podcasts and whatnot in Jacksonville and do like other stuff. And I have talked to some of them and like we're probably gonna get them on the podcast more. That's like one of my goals for 2020 was to like get more involved with people like creatives in the city and whatnot like that. But yeah, we'll eventually work on that. But as far as like that is not really.
That's crazy. And how do you feel about like moving around and going to other areas in order to like link up with other people, like, traveling to LA or whatever?
That was the goal. That was the goal this year, but we can't travel.
That's true.
Cause I said I was gonna go to LA at least like 7 or 8 times this year, but
Yeah.
we can't. So
Do you got like other people out there, like fans or just supporters out there in different places?
yeah, yeah, we got fans all over. I guess I could talk about this since it's pretty much canceled. We were supposed to do a live show at Howard University for their homecoming, but
Oh, for real?
yeah, we can't do that now. So I guess this is exclusive for you.
They reached out to you or what? How did that go
Yeah, they
about?
they reached out to us.
That's crazy. Yeah, your reach is real long. I remember you had like a little back and forth with the city girls at one time too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to JT. Actually, like retweeted us. She followed us for a little bit. I think she unfollowed us, but she followed us for a little bit. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
And
that's
then stuff like that, man. Like sitting in the house. I've been thinking like, how can I recreate that? How can I come up with something else and different stuff like that? So
yeah.
that's
It's
one good thing about this. Corona situation, being a creative, like you get more time to actually think about stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because like I've noticed like with a lot of things that you guys do, it's just super organic. Like you never really go out of your way to make a viral moment or anything. And it's sort of like people just like do that for you, you know, like they'll find the clips or whatnot. Like I seen the RLP ski mask kind of like take off, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I see. So what's the deal with that with the dude that was wearing it and whatnot that you did like that skit? I didn't like I don't follow wrestling that much to understand what was going on, but it looked like a big moment, you know?
Oh yeah, the homie Malcolm Bivens. He's with the WWE. He's a manager for on WWE, and he hit me up because he's like he liked the podcast a lot. He's just been rocking with me for years. So he was like, man, let me get a ski mask, and I was like, yeah, I'll send you one out. So I sent him out a ski mask, and he was like, man, I'm gonna do a skit with Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler, she's like one of the top women wrestlers in WWE. I was like, man, if you get this going, this would be crazy. So he did it, and then on wrestling Twitter, it went pretty viral. Like even like WWE has like a Fox News account.
Mhm.
They posted it and different stuff like that. It was pretty viral on wrestling Twitter. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah, with this whole virus and everything, I seen like I swear I don't follow wrestling that much, but my friends do. So they were sending me, you know, and I see on Twitter all those clips of them doing the episodes without the audience. Like, how do you feel
Yeah, yeah.
about that? Do you think that that was, you know, a good idea, or do you think they should have just like canceled the whole situation?
It was good at a point where they just pretty much needed to get to WrestleMania. So I can understand like them wanting to do the audience and do it without the audience and whatnot, just to get the stories out the way.
Yeah,
But apparently they're supposed to continue on doing it. I think they should stop because they should just do like an off season and just like come back when like everything's back to normal, because
yeah.
eventually it's gonna get tiring like watching people wrestling and grunting and shit.
Are you
And
are you like a true like fan of the wrestling, or do you like the antics? I know a lot of people are just more of a fan of like, you know, the antics and like all of
all,
those.
all all of it, the promos, the wrestling styles, all of it, gimmicks, everything.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you feel about these like sort of silent matches? Like, do you were you enjoying them or?
It's pretty cool because you can hear the wrestlers in the ring, and they're like hitting people and talking shit, and then you just hear them. And then I guess like for right now, they kind of like wrestling's supposed to be PG, but a lot of the times they just like letting the wrestlers just curse and whatnot. And WrestleMania, they were just like letting all the curse words fly. It's kind of funny seeing that now.
What's this? I'm sorry, but like, what's this? This the new one that like Chris Jericho's involved with. The
Um,
what is it?
AEW, I don't
Yeah,
watch it. I
you
don't
don't
watch
watch
it.
it?
No.
Yeah, my friend has sent me some clips of it, and I was just like, this looks crazy, you know. But yeah.
It's in Jacksonville, but I just don't watch it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
just
out here.
looked like they were more like on board with the trolling or something. Like, but yeah. Have you checked out the Dark Side of the Ring documentary show on Viceland?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I've seen the New Jack one the other day. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I just saw that one. I just got on board with the Chris Benoit story. And
Yeah,
yeah, my friend was putting me on the new Jack, like, yo, next week, this one, you're gonna have to check it out. So really enjoyed those stories. It's crazy because I remember growing up like how brutal it was, like, you know, the cutting and all that. And over the years, like I've seen how tame it's gotten or how PG. And it's interesting. How do you feel about that? Do you want like the old, you know, the old type wrestling back, or are you, you know, where do you fall with that?
I'm kind of over it because like right now that they can't do the blading and whatnot and chair shots, because they realize if you get hit in the head with a metal chair, you're gonna get CTE,
Yeah.
different stuff like that. So now I just focus more on like the wrestling skills.
Mhm.
But even if you go back and look at some of that Attitude era stuff, when it was TVMA and whatnot. A lot of that stuff was kind of corny, man. Like, for example, you remember Val Venus, the dude with the towel? He was like a porn star or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He did a gimmick where like these Asian dudes like cut his penis off, and it was called like choppy choppy your weenie or something like that. It's like really corny. I was like, a lot of this stuff that like people was like saying, "Oh man, I wish this was still in wrestling." I'm like, man, that is corny.
Yeah.
Like somebody had like one of the listeners had brought it to my attention because we do the They Need the Ass Beats on the podcast. And he was like, man, I'm watching the WWE network. Goldust need his ass beat. And he sent me a screenshot and it was Goldust in blackface with a curly afro on.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, Goldberg needs his ass beat. I was like, man, this ridiculous right here.
That's crazy. Wait, it was Goldust or Goldberg?
Goldust.
Oh, damn. But Goldust was different, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, like, cause I mean he painted his face in general, so it's like I
Yeah.
don't know, but it's crazy, man. How did you feel about the New Jack story? Like, like the documentary shows you he kind of went, above what was what was agreed upon. Do you think that's just the kind of energy that's acceptable, or like I don't know, you think it was just like a product of a different era, or do you think like I don't know, maybe you should have been charged for things?
Even in that era, he went way too far. But they talked about his backstory, and like even if you like take his backstory into consideration, he had a pretty fucked up life. So I think that might have been what went into why he just didn't care about violence. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so the parts where he talked about his dad, him just like chilling in the living room, his dad just like stab his mom, and like
Yeah.
he seen his dad shoot his mom, and then she just gets up and then just acts like it never happened. So he probably didn't take violence as serious as everybody else took it. So he's like, I seen my mom get stabbed 9 times. I'm gonna stab you 9 times. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing it seeing it coupled like right after the Benoit one, which seemed like it was more of a product of like CTE. With New Jack, it seems like it was more like a childhood trauma thing, that it was sort of something that just kind of is built into them, where it's like they don't rationalize the same way like a normal person would. And yeah, like it was like two completely different things, but I could kind of like understand where it was coming from in a way. But yeah, that show's pretty good. Definitely everybody should go check it out, even if you're not a fan of wrestling, because
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
they're really well done, like the episodes. I seen the what's it called, the Brody, what was it called, that dude that he got stabbed.
Oh yeah, Bruiser Brody. Yeah.
Bruiser Brody, that one was really well made. And these are like sort of like untold stories or rumors or myths, like things that people have talked about that they never really sat down to figure out what was fact and fiction. And
I heard about the Bruiser Brody one, well, like the story of it, but I didn't know all the details. I didn't know about them like they killed him and then like they just threw him in like in a small casket, and then they like he knew like the governor or something like down there, whatever high up, and he like sent out like the jury duty, like I mean the court letters like late, so
yeah.
witnesses was they wouldn't get the letters until like after the court date was over, so they couldn't testify and different stuff like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was interesting because at the end there really wasn't like any justice. It just was what it was. And yeah, they were like in Puerto Rico when it happened. And
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy, man. And then in the New Jack one, the mass transit dude, like he like in the actual episode, they made it seem like he could care less about the dude. Like he was like whatever, like, but I had seen another podcast with him where he was saying he basically was trying to get like gastro, like he died doing that. So I guess he just completely felt not culpable for any of it because it really didn't have nothing to do with him. But in the way that they showed in the documentary, they show him like really messing him up and then him dying right after. So it's like they almost make it seem like he was the reason for it, because he ruined his career or whatnot.
I didn't even know that dude died until I
Yeah,
watched that documentary.
it was.
That documentary, I was like, damn, I thought maybe he was still alive or something like that.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
it made it seem like New Jack stabbed him and he got depressed and maybe like he wanted to like he probably ate himself crazy and then like he probably needed some gastric bypass surgery to lose the weight and then like he
Nah, he
died
was
from that.
he was big. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but
They
yeah,
probably they try to make it. They made it seem like it kind of had New Jack's fault. He was like, man, I don't care.
yeah, he's like, I don't care, like, But how do you bringing it back to like the Benoit thing, the way they told the story and how the information came out, how they had done that big tribute to him, was that because I kind of knew things about that, but was that like known as far as like how it went down? Because I think there were a lot of people that kind of were upset with Vince and a lot of people for glorifying him, in the
All right,
tribute.
so I remember watching that episode. I was at the house chilling. I remember like it was yesterday. I was like, my parents were like out of town, and I had the house to myself and whatnot. So I didn't even know that. I didn't even know Chris Benoit was dead. That's like, even though the internet was around, I didn't know he was dead. So
Yeah.
I'm watching Raw, and they're like, yeah, Chris Benoit family was murdered last night. I'm like, what the hell is this? I want to see some wrestling. And then they doing a Chris Benoit tribute. So I'm just confused as hell. And then I'm on this is around Nike Talk. So I hop on. So I was watching Raw and I was on Nike Talk. And then around like the Raw comes on at 9, around like maybe 10 p.m., it was kind of like circulated that, oh yeah, he killed his family and whatnot. Like, but they was already doing the tribute, but they didn't know. They thought maybe somebody came in the house and killed the whole family, but they didn't know that at the time Chris Benoit was the one that did it. And then apparently, I didn't even know this. I think I had cut it off. So on the documentary, they kind of said that during the show, they started to find out what was going on, but it was too late. They had already was doing the tribute to him. So they just had to like keep it rolling.
I mean, that stuff even happens now, like with Jesse Smollett. Like,
Yeah.
it's like people will react really quickly towards something without all the facts. But how do you feel about like Vince and how, he basically just banned people from talking about it, or, banned kind of his family and stuff? Like, do you think that, because I was wondering, like, do you think he was like sort of too emotional about the situation to really allow it in his business, or it was more of like to save face?
It makes sense because it almost killed the wrestling industry. So it makes sense that he don't want his name mentioned at all. Even when they because one of the wrestlers named Randy Orton, he's the youngest ever WWE champion. And then when he won that title, he beat Chris Benoit for the title. So even now, when they like bring up like Randy Orton's like best moments,
Yeah.
they like cut Chris Benoit out and they just show Randy in the ring just holding the title. So they just
Damn.
act like Chris Benoit never happened. But they didn't really ban his family because they still let his son come to the events. Like they let his son come in for free to the events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they showed him like recently. He was like backstage in like an episode of Raw. Like they let him come in and whatnot, and they like funded some of his stuff. Like he did an interview with some dude that do wrestling interviews, and he was basically talking about something. The WWE they let him in for free. They give him free tickets, but he just can't be on camera.
Yeah, it's more of like an erasure of like his career and his
Yeah.
credits. It's interesting. It's like canceling and stuff. How do you feel about that type of thing, like canceling people and all that?
Um, I really don't know how to feel about it because I haven't really seen anybody successfully get canceled. I feel like people say somebody get canceled and they still rock with them. Like for example, you seen when Boosie said the stuff about Dwayne Wade's daughter
Oh yeah.
uh, transitioning, and everybody was like, "Oh man, we're getting Boosie out of here." Then all he had to do was show some women on IG shake their ass, and like, "Oh, we back with Boosie." So I never seen anybody successfully get canceled. So I don't
Yeah.
know how to feel about it.
Yeah, like I feel like people are victims of the moment. Like they want to be on the right side of whatever, like whatever topic is trending, but then they don't really. Most people just aren't passionate enough to keep that energy for like too long, you know.
Yeah, and even if they do like online saying, "Oh, this person canceled," they probably still rock with them behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah.
you think everybody that said they don't listen to R. Kelly music really be not listening to R. Kelly like that? Because I've been on Apple. I've done this randomly. I'm like, man, y'all cancel R. Kelly. I go on Apple Music. I see people I'm friends with on Apple Music listening to R. Kelly music. So I'm like, is he really canceled? Because I see your name right there listening to his music. So
Hey man, my
yeah,
bad. I just it's it's an interesting thing because it's like when somebody's talking about something, it becomes relevant and everybody wants in on the conversation. So it almost like pulls people's attention to that topic or to kind of really consider it. Like if somebody's saying so many bad things about one person, there's like another side of people who want to be the opposite opinion. They want to go the opposite direction, like just to just because they're like, oh, this person can't really be that bad or whatnot. But it's really interesting. Yeah, there's a character in Tiger King that the dude basically kind of has like a cult situation going on. And I was
mm,
like, bro, that's R. Kelly. Like that's the white R. Kelly right there. And it's like they're not, you know, the media and the people who are covering this don't treat him the same way, you know, that they came after R. Kelly. This dude was bringing in, you know, underage girls and kind of, you know, bringing them into the business and slowly like, you know, like soliciting favors and sexual things and all that. And he's just, you know, with a smile on, just kind of saying like, hey, this is my place, you know, I can run it how I feel. But it's really interesting how people perceive things, you know. A lot of it
yeah,
comes down to like how we're sort of meant to look at things. And it's like, I don't know, like it was a weird year last year because we really had to look at our heroes like questionably, you know.
yeah.
it,
Even back to Tiger King, the whole thing with Joe Exotic. I
yeah.
was even before I even heard of Tiger King, I was seeing hashtag free Joe Exotic. And then a video did surface of him saying why he say the N-word and whatnot. And people was like, man, we're gonna get Joe Exotic out of here, man. And then next thing you know, I was seeing free Joe Exotic again. And apparently like he made like a rap song or some shit. I'm
Oh
like,
no,
bro,
no.
like, or
It isn't.
something like that.
If you watch the documentary, it kind of makes sense because they have like one of the guys that was helping him with his campaign, because that was most likely when he was trying to run for president or governor. And he basically was doing these like PSA videos trying to get people's attention. He was kind of trolling, like he was sort of playing like a Donald Trump, trying to like, you know, trying to elicit like all the weirdos and like people. So I don't even completely believe that he believes the things he was saying. But when he was doing that diss song, it was a diss towards the lady that supposedly fed her husband to the tigers.
Oh,
Um,
Carol Baskins.
yeah, but it's funny
See,
because
I never seen it, but I just know every character because I just see the tweets from it.
yeah, it's just one of those things that honestly, if you would have caught it early before all the tweets, it would have probably been more surprising than going into it now because you know so many facts. But there's so many dynamics to it that it could still be very entertaining. Like so many under the surface things. Even one thing that they didn't say in the documentary that one of the guys, Carol Baskin's new husband, he basically put out a video saying there were a lot of lies and things. And he said one of the things is that Joe never wrote any of his songs or sang them, that he had like a team of people to write and sing his songs. And that wasn't disclosed in the documentary. They make it seem like this dude was pretty talented. Like when you watch it, like this dude kind of could sing. Like he probably could go far in the country market or something. But yeah, they kind of exposed him. And that's a different detail. I think that's where it gets tricky because he's sort of the main character of the documentary. They try to paint him more as a protagonist, like a kind of a good guy, and Carol Baskin as the antagonist, like the bad person. But really they're all sort of bad. They all have bad things, and they sort of weigh it differently. Like at one part you'll feel like maybe this person isn't that bad, and then oh no, this person has done some really bad things, and they show you so many of the sides of it that you kind of root for everybody and kind of root against everybody. So by the end you kind of just want everybody to go to jail. But it's it's an interesting show because definitely for 7 hours you can't show like, you know, them really hurting these animals and keeping them in cages and expect people to continue watching. Like it's just too brutal, you know.
Yeah, even before we hopped on Zoom, I seen on the Breakfast Club apparently like Joe Exotic Meats said he was selling frozen tiger cubs.
Oh, yeah. No, there's like one of the guys, he's one of the guys that was documenting everything. He said that like no, there were a lot of things that I had on video, and in the documentary they show that the video, the studio where all the footage was, all the hard drives, he basically had burnt it down. But he said I had videos of him like, you know, straight up killing horses and killing animals like point blank, like just to do it. That he just wasn't a very good guy. And he goes like, once I left, I had to go get therapy, like for real. He's like, I didn't feel good about what I did. He's like, once I got there, he's like, I was there for a year, and after 6 months I was convincing myself like, oh, you're just a documentarian, you just need to document this and you could sell this and this is going to be good for the world to see. And he goes, but I knew I was like in too deep, like this is not a good place for my soul, you know, to be. But
That's crazy.
the way the documentary shows it, anybody who owns tigers is legit like a sociopath. Like they're just not a good person. It's more of like an ego driven thing. Um,
Yeah, it's weird because NBA young boy had like he's done had like 5 tigers, and I'm like, this can't be legal because he get them because apparently like when you get them you can only have them as cubs because they get too big you just gotta like toss them out, and I'm like, what do they do with them do with those tigers after they like get too big to where you
yeah,
can't have them in the house no more? They just
that's
shoot them and kill them or something like that.
that's what they show in the documentary. I mean, they don't specifically show it; they talk about it, but it's yeah, it's and this dude had like 400 tigers, like on
That's ridiculous.
in like a place. But yeah, like the cool thing in the documentary was they were showing how he would get the meat. Like the dude would spend like thousands of dollars to feed the entire zoo. So he would go to like Walmart and he said, if you pick up meat and you take it to the cash register and say you don't have your credit card or whatever, and they can't just put it back on the shelves, so they have to throw it away. So he would send his people to go to the dumpsters and grab all the meat that they had to throw away, and he would feed it to the animals. But at a certain point, he opened up a small like little like burger shop restaurant inside of the zoo, and they would use the same meat in order to feed the humans, like the same like
That's crazy.
it was expired meat. It was meat that they couldn't sell, and he would send them to go get it because it just was so costly to have so many animals. But it was crazy. It made me think about like just eating at zoos and stuff. You know, you go to certain places, you're like, should I eat this here or just wait? You know, and I'm like, I'll probably wait next time. You know, it's questionable.
That's smart and disgusting all at the same time.
No, it was interesting because he like maybe 3 episodes in, I was watching with my dad, and I was like, man, this is really an American documentary. Like they're exposing their whole hustle, like all the little hustles that they did and have and how they sell the tigers. And I was like, this is crazy that this information is like widely spread in Netflix. Like these are illegal activities that they're all like, you know, confessing to. Like there's a documentary on Netflix called Screwball about Alex Rodriguez, and about the steroids and all that. And it happened right here in Miami, right here in by Sunset Place. And it's crazy, like the amount of detail people go into about their legal activities. And it's so interesting. Like it's so American. Like it's almost like respected to be a hustler and to succeed rather than, you know, rather than doing things in a moral way, you know. It's so interesting to watch these things. But yeah, the only thing I've learned from all this stuff is just like to succeed, to win. Like it's not
Yeah.
even about how you get there. And it's weird, especially what's going on with the corona thing. Like it was funny because I was talking to Edo one night like last week, and I was like, bro, this thing can't go on for another month, because if it goes on for another month, you know, the country's gonna have to take out more money. we're gonna go deeper and deeper into unemployment, deeper into like debt, and Trump
Yeah.
won't allow that. It'll hurt his chances. It'll make it look like he failed as a president, and it'll hurt his chances of getting reelected. So I don't think he would allow it going on for another month. The next day, he came out and said, "Oh, like he called out the reporters and was saying, oh, you would love if the country didn't open up. You would love how it would look and how it would look like I'm not doing a good job. So we're opening by Easter." That's when he said he was going to open it by Easter. And I was just like, wow, bro, like it's true. Like he's taking this personal, and it's crazy. Like I think he would risk like the world's health just to make
Yeah,
his
you're
numbers look good.
yeah, you don't care. And it's
So
gonna be weird when it's time to vote because if we still doing the whole social distancing thing and like we gotta vote, like we can't be close to each other, it's just gonna be a weird situation at the election polls. So
yeah, I think it's time for them to just get like a mobile app going or something. Like,
should have been there. That I think they were scared because somebody can hack it, but that's just gonna happen anyway. So
yeah, I mean, they could hack it over there too. They've been doing all these, like, they can hack it if they want to, no matter what. It's just that's why I'm kind of disillusioned with politics already. Like, I'm like, all right, man. Like, guys are playing whatever games you want, but it's like you could tell it's not really for people's benefits. It's just to kind of put people in there. Especially right now, it looks like we got two choices right now, and I ain't really feeling either. So it's like,
I ain't feeling it either, man. I said I might just vote like local only and just like, cause I can't vote for Biden and I can't vote for Trump.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. Because I remember 4 years ago, a lot of people were saying, "Yo, Biden should have ran. He probably could have won over Hillary." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of feel that. That kind of makes sense." But now we're here, and I'm like, "Hell no!" like, sorry, man, you just ain't good enough, man. And the only situation that I could see, because I was talking to my dad about it, is if maybe he brings Bernie in as a vice president. Because at this point, it looks like Biden is not really that capable to make like to even serve a year. And I think maybe bringing Bernie on might bring in some of that support, that from the other side without completely like claiming him. But it's it's still tough, man. This like Trump is like a master with this shit. Like,
Well, he said he was gonna bring a woman in.
yeah, I could see he wants to do that, but I don't think that's the play, man. Unless the Democrats really have that much power, like I don't think that would be enough to beat Trump. Like this dude, Trump was
Yeah,
ethering Biden like months ago before all this. Like it's intense. Like this
yeah,
dude is not prepared.
and a bunch of people going to vote for Trump. Trump going to get some votes just off these stimulus checks alone because there's going to be some people like, oh, Trump put some money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Another vote because let's say we do this pandemic still is going on, and they were like, well, Trump is putting money in our pocket, so let's just go and keep him in the office and keep that going. So you're gonna get a couple of people like that.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing like people switch because like Yang wanted to do that. He wanted to give everybody 1,000 per month. And people were so against it, especially on the right. But then to see everybody be so down for it on the right, it's like it's crazy how like we flip flop, like depending on what side we're on. It's like, nah, that's a
Yeah,
ridiculous idea. Even my uncle, he's not even like he's American, but he's not, he speaks Spanish. He's not, he's not even white or nothing, and he's like totally against all this stuff, like all the giving money to people and everything. But it's really like crazy because I'm like, that's your guy, like it's really weird how people get on board when it's their team, making the calls. But
yeah,
it's crazy because yeah, and Bernie said 2,000. He said whatever people are on, he's trying to go for more. Like, but yeah, it's interesting how everybody even Biden was really trying to separate himself from Bernie's policies, but now he said he's down to like erase like student loans and everything, which it's crazy. It's like you taking the man's policies after you try to separate yourself from him. But yeah, it's intense. How do you feel about politics and stuff? Y'all, I don't know if y'all really talk about politics on your podcast.
nah, not really. I watch it just so I can just know like what's going on. I don't watch it like in detail. Like I watch it like maybe if I had to like count it, I probably pay attention to politics maybe like an hour or so out of a week. So I
Yeah.
just know what's going on. So I just don't be completely oblivious. So we don't ever talk about it because I don't know. I know Joe watches it. Joe is heavy in matter of fact, last week episode we got into politics a lot. But I know Devin don't follow it, but Joe follow it, and we was talking about it a lot. But I'm not heavy into it, to be honest.
Yeah. I got friends that, they stay watching CNN and they're just like scared of everything. And then I got friends that
Yeah,
don't watch nothing. And then when something like this happens, they get real scared because they're like, oh my God. Like, they get hooked on the TV and then now they're scared. But I think it's good to kind of see what's going on, but try to like look at it like, like look like watch it, but don't really like sit there and obsess over it because it could be kind of scary, like kind of traumatizing, and it changes every single day. Like there's always a new hot topic that everybody's going crazy about.
yeah. Like I'll look at an article, but I won't watch a debate.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather do something like that just to be like know what's going on. Like I'll probably look at an article to find out like what everybody policies are, and I'll be like, okay, see what this person's doing and whatnot. But that's probably as far as I go.
Yeah, my friend was like, "Oh, I guess I gotta, do some research on Biden now," and I was like, "You're not gonna like what you find, man."
Even if even like Biden, for example, like you go back and see what he did in the 90s, what's different stuff he voted for.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, you don't want even Hillary and Bill Clinton, that's like we were little kids when he was the president. But
dude, I
even look,
was I was talking to Edo about it like a week ago or a week and a half ago. And I was like, bro, Bernie, this dude has been consistent his whole life. Like you could
yeah,
literally type any year in YouTube and you'll find him doing something like super amazing. And so we did it as like a test. And he goes 94. I put in Bernie Sanders 1994, and it said he was he was given like an honorary woman medal or something. Like he was dubbed like an honorary woman from like some big feminist group. And I was like, dude, come on, dog. Like this dude is like ridiculously like embedded in like in the politics of like helping people. It's
yeah. Even if you put
intense.
Bernie Sanders, you put his name in the 60s, you
Yeah.
see him marching for black rights and different like civil rights and whatnot. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like
Back
he's
in
consistent.
Yeah,
Then
back in
if you put
2016, I did all that research when he was running with Killer Mike. I was like, let me see, because Killer Mike he has some liberal like ideas, but he's also very what do you call it? Conservative, like about the gun. So I saw their whole barbershop debate, and I was like, all right, like this, I like this because he's willing to have a conversation with somebody who's not afraid to like to ask questions.
yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, so we got the politics, everybody going downhill. We got the corona, we got all this stuff going on right now. um what about you? How's everything going with the podcast? You guys thinking about expanding anything, or I mean, like does this just completely derail everything you guys have planned, or
Oh yeah, we had a lot of stuff planned and like some stuff like we can't do. Like I just said about that live show.
yeah?
Basically what we just basically doing is just like keep it consistent and just gonna put episodes out every week. Just go with the flow, keep the Patreon going, and then like soon as everything opens back up, then we're gonna go put our what plans we had. Gonna put them back into the what's the word for it, like
Motion.
fruition or whatever. Motion or whatever. We'll do it then. But right now, we just maintain it and just keep it consistent. Because I'm starting to notice like a lot of podcasts now are like they're like taking like breaks and whatnot. And I'm like, man, we ain't gonna take no breaks. We're gonna keep it going. We only do one episode a week, so we just do that episode and just like take it week by week and then hopefully everything quote unquote go back to normal.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's like also you don't want to sit there and talk about the coronavirus like every single podcast, but it's like the most dominant thing going on right now, like just the sports thing. Maybe when the Jordan documentary comes out, like you could like kind of react to that too, you know, like, or whatever
Yeah.
content's dropping. That's why I was like, I'm gonna just kind of get back in the game. Everybody's real like chill at the home, and we could just talk about things, albums or movies and all that stuff. That's because
Well,
those things.
yeah. Well, one good thing about us, even if like we don't, if nothing's going on in the world, we got a ton of stories to tell.
Yeah,
We've
that's
been
true.
through a lot. We've been through so much together. So every week we're gonna have a story to tell. Something crazy Joe done did, something crazy I done did. We always got a story. So we good on that. We good on that part. We sit down and we think of stuff. So we'll be straight on that, even with the corona, because I don't like talking about it on the podcast like that, because I feel like everybody else does. Even people like naming their podcast like the corona episode, different shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. At first, I could see everybody kind of clout chasing the disease, and I was like people were hitting me up like, "Yo, let's shoot something, let's do something, let's do a skit, or let's do." And I kind of didn't like it because I feel like it more or less like makes people more scared than like, you know, brings us together. So I was just kind of against it. Like I mean, the people who are doing the research and are like trying to help people is straight. Like Diddy just did this one thing, the State of the Union type thing, or whatever,
Mm.
and that's fine. But it's just like I rather trying to separate from that and just like entertain people too. Like let's just have a good time and kind of like ride through all this, because bro, people take it serious. People get scared, man. People sitting at their home like alone for weeks. One of my friends, she's like, I haven't left in like 16 days. And I was like, well, then you should be straight. You know, if you're not sick now, then you're good. But people get scared. I'm like, honestly, I'd rather have caught it, got over it by now, and then be able to go walk the streets and like chill rather than been continue to be scared for another few months because like about maybe catching it. But yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about that no more anyways. But yeah, all right, man. Well, it was dope talking to you and stuff. Shoot, anything you want to promote or talk about, tell people to go check out?
uh, yeah, just check out the podcast, Random Acts of Podcast, on everything, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audio Mac, SoundCloud, anything. Just put Random Acts of Podcast in,
Yeah,
we'll pop up. We got the Patreon. I
yeah,
know I done told you 1,000 times. I appreciate everything you do for us, Chris.
yeah,
I
for
think that's
sure.
about it. That's all I got to plug. And we got the YouTube, youtube.com/Random Acts of Podcast. If you want to watch the episodes, we got that up. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. And yeah, that's it.
All right, that's dope, man. Thanks for coming through. Stay
Yo,
safe. Tell the whole gang to stay safe.
we'll try. We might have to wear hazmat suits.
All right, cool. All right, peace.